Welcome to Shelby Stitcher. This is Joan Parker. I am putting together a few more of these blocks, which are called Scrappy Summer Quilt Blocks. And I thought I would share with you a little tip that I see that kind of goes against what you've been probably told or seen. I have used the Assembly Line Fashion and Makeup, a long string of these 2-inch squares, just sewed one to the other. Now I need to press them. And you've probably seen this blade saver, which has a rotary cutter blade in the center to trim them apart, which is wonderful. And this, I make a habit every time I sit down to sew, I turn it once to keep the wear on the blade even, and it just presses down in there. And you probably thought, well, I should go ahead and start snipping these apart now. But no, since they're all chained together right at this moment, I go over and iron my blocks first, and then I come back and snip them apart. Let's see how that goes. I'm going to be adding in a few other hints as I go. These are either a color with a cream or two colors together. As you can see, these are both two colors. I want to be pressing the color away from the cream or the white. So I'm going to take the time to do that now so that I don't have to repress anything later or take it apart and sew it again. So I just slide these down, and I notice if the cream's on the top, I need to flip it. And this one is one of each, so that one doesn't matter. I lightly press them to set the seam. And that makes such a difference. If you're not setting your seam, go ahead and give it a try. I teach people how to sew, and I'll tell you, it's harder when somebody already has bad habits in their repertoire or in their lifestyle. They'll say, I get this a lot, but I always do it like this. So here they are asking me to help them learn how to piece their blocks better, make them more precise, make them flatter, make them the right size for the pattern they're using. And I frequently hear, but I always do it like this. And I heard a saying, and it makes sense to me. It was actually told to me in a very informal friend on friend, iron sharpeneth iron counseling type session, where the person said, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you always got. And I was like, I never thought about it that way. So here's my blocks all ready for trimming apart. And I took these three off. There's my ender at the end of my row. And we've talked about that in the past, about how your leader ender will keep your blocks from going down into your throat of your machine. I'm going to take the time to pick out this top part of the seam that's above the horizontal seam so I can spin the seams on these three. And I don't really need these three right this minute. So I'm going to go ahead and put those to the side. And now I have a couple more tips on using this and streamlining the piecing process. If you hold these out taut and pop them across the razor blade, they come apart very easily. If you drag it down like this, it takes a lot more force. And as I cut these apart, I'm putting them in the same orientation as the others. And I'm going to be separating out the ones that are two color from the ones that are one color and a cream. And I like to keep the seam going the same way in this pile so that when I match them up with one of the cream and color ones, they'll already be going the same direction. And that's another thing that just might save a couple seconds, and you might think, well, I don't care, I don't mind spending the time. Well, I do. So there you go. Got my two piles. I'm going to separate these into two piles. Since this one has the seam going up, I'm going to flip them around. And I'm going to match these up, but I'm not putting the same color beside the same color. So I'll set that one aside. Just go ahead and use that one, and so on until I finish up these pieces and add them to my growing pile. Remember to use it up, wear it out, make it do, or do without. Hope to see you next time. If you like this video or learned something from it, please take a moment to like and subscribe. Thank you.